Your circle will change as you accomplish your goals and level up. Everybody can't go.
And we live. Happy Wednesday and welcome to another Everybody Can't Go Convo. I am your host, Jessi Holley. And as you can see, we are here with just me again today. I wanted to talk to you guys about yet another thing that I saw online. I saw a video that I was like, oh, if that ain't some Everybody Can't Go stuff right there. So the video was talking about spending time with people, with friends. And for those of you listening, friends is in some heavy air quotes, okay? Spending time with people who they're your quote unquote friends, but they don't like you. And it's like, well, what that mean? Like, how is somebody going to be a friend, but they don't like you? And I'm like, ooh, can't relate, could relate. Not now, because I'm good now. But yeah, in previous friendships, or what I thought were friendships, I could definitely see what homegirl was talking about. And I started to think about like all of the different things that would make somebody spend time with you, or somebody that always wants to be around you, but that may not necessarily be good for you, or may not necessarily be, they not your friend the way that you they friend. They don't like you the way you like them. They don't want to be a part of a mutually beneficial relationship, whether that relationship be a friendship, a romantic relationship. We could be talking about family relationships, any of that. So between you and another person, they like the perks of being around you, of being with you. So these could be things like they might like access to the rooms that you have access to, the people that you have access to. So they may like being around you because of what you give them, in terms of, it could be your energy. It could be that you like to have a good time. It could be that, you always like, oh, well, if you ain't got it, just go ahead, come on with me anyway. I'll just go ahead and cover you. I got you. And, you might be so kind-hearted, such a good person that you're not paying no attention. You just like, oh yeah, everybody eats, everybody goes. Hence how we got here. Okay, because I'm not just talking to you. I ain't talking about you. I'm preaching to the choir. All right. So the reason why I'm coming to you from this aspect is because that was me. Like that I used to be that person. Like, oh yeah, nah, we all we got. Everybody eats. Everybody can go. But the fact of the matter is, everybody can't. And it's not always because of you. It's not always because of what you lack, or it's not always because of what you won't give. And sometimes it is them. It's not necessarily you. And a part of it that is you is that you allow or tolerate certain behaviors, and or you lack boundaries, which is part of the reason why we talk about boundaries and self-care so often around here, because those are two of the things that you definitely have to pay attention to when you're assessing whether or not you're going to allow or continue to allow certain people in your life, in your circle, with even just having access to you, because you are valuable. You carry value. Now, if you haven't done the soul searching that you need to do to find out or figure out what that value is that you carry, then that would be something that I would recommend you take some time. Like, what do you like about you? Do you like you? Because if you don't, therein lies a problem right there. If you don't like you, then I mean, how do you expect for other folks to? But when you're looking at the value that you bring to your relationships, the people that you hang out with, and the different types of access and things that you have, there could be people who they're solely around just for the perks of being adjacent to you. They could be worried about, like we just talked about, those different freebies and things. They could be worried about, the social media ops. And it's like, well, what is that? Social media makes the world go round at this point. There are some people, they always want to be out with you because that's their content, that's their footage. They always able to post that they having a good time as long as they rolling with you. And they may have other things to post here and there, other reels or shorts and different photo ops and things to take. But when they're out with you, that's when they really able to make some stuff shake. That's when they really able to make their page pop. Really able to, get their content where it's like, ooh, I'm getting more likes, I'm getting more views. Because who doesn't like to see other people having fun, right? So that could be, that's something so small, something so minuscule. You may not even be paying attention to that because at your core, you really are, being a good person. You really are worried about and concerned with like the experience, with making sure that everybody is having a good time. Where, you may not have paid attention to, yeah, such and such only pop out for certain kind of events. Such and such only got time for me when, I scored tickets to insert a certain type of event here, insert certain rooms here. And so those are things that you definitely need to examine when you have people that they pop up all the time, very specific times, or they only pop up at very specific times. Now, I ain't talking about your bestie that's always been bestie, like he or she is always there, down for whatever, whether it's eating cheese puffs on the couch or it's like, okay, like, girl, I need you to get dressed up. We're going to this gala for my job, or I need you to come with me to a networking event, or let's go on vacay. Come with my family on vacay. Like, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about that homegirl, that homeboy that they only pop up and pop out when it's time to be seen, when it's time for them to gain something other than your company and a good time for them coming out with you. They don't have time to chill on your couch. They don't have time to have your back when you need somebody. They don't have time for if and when you need to vent. They don't have time for any other stuff. Just shooting the breeze. They don't got time to go to the gym with you, go for a walk, hit the park and do some chill stuff. But every time it's about to be a wild party, they got time for that. Every time you're about to go brush elbows with whomever is of whatever quote unquote status. Anytime you going to chill with your famous friend, or you going to the barbecue where you might see cousin Cardi, all of a sudden they got time for that. But they don't have time for, hey, just want to run some errands with me today? Because who don't have errands to run and who don't love Target, okay? And you know what? I should bleep them out. Target not endorsing us, but maybe one day they will. Shout out to Target. But, folks said they not coming around for just the Target run, but anytime it's the time to be seen, they want to be seen and they want to be seen with you. And they want to overdo all the footage of being seen with you. Take a look at those type of friendships and those type of dynamics, like what are they really here for? And do they really need to be going? Do they? Do they? Examine that. And then also, like, people may stay around you simply because they like who you attract. Now, how we were talking about the perks of going places, getting access to places, certain rooms, and doing like getting things and doing activities. It's not just those tangible things. It may also be that someone is hanging around you because of who hangs around you. So they're using you to get to the next person. They always want to roll with you, or they want to be around you because of who you have access to, because of who you're friends with, because of who you know, because of who your colleagues are, because of the connections that you've built. And they're looking for ways to use your connections or use your friends, your social circle, use your access to other people, or use that gift about you that attracts other people to you. They want to be around because you're attracting people that wouldn't deal with them in a million years. And they're around merely because they're tolerated at being, oh, well, that's Jesse's friend. We'll go ahead and deal with her today. She's not going to be here all the time and for long. And I'm guilty. Y'all know I will tell you in a heartbeat, honest and transparent over here. That was me when I did think that everybody could go along. It's, oh no, she cool. When I really took a look at how lopsided some of the relationships were, and I really had to look at, like, this isn't a mutual dynamic, is it? This is mostly me being nice, me bringing all of these things, creating all these experiences and opportunities for people who were only there to take, or people who were there for the good time, but not necessarily able to show up, nor did they want to when there was a time where I wasn't the person giving. So take a look at that type of dynamic in the relationships and in the company that you keep, especially those that you keep, what you feel is close. Take a look at whether or not you're the one who is in the, or not always, but even if you are mostly in that state of being the provider, giving provision. And I don't just mean provider in the sense of like man, woman in the household. I mean, are you the giving friend? There's always giving, but when do you receive? Now, I'm not just talking about financial stuff. I'm not just talking about like all of those perks, those freebies, different things like that, because they have different superpowers. So I'm talking about these relationships where it's not mutually beneficial to you because you're the person you're always the shoulder to cry on. You always covering somebody else because they don't have it. You're always down to pick up somebody else and take them somewhere. You always the listening ear. You're always the person bringing the solutions. But what is that person providing to you in your life that not that we count, not that we measuring, but there is something to be said about you being the person who is constantly pouring out your value and constantly pouring out your energy, and you're not receiving anything back in return. You're not receiving that love back in return. So there is a problem with that. Not to say that there's a problem with you, but if that's the type of dynamic that you keep, and especially if you're keeping it with a lot of the people around you, you have to take a look inward and do some self-assessment and some self-reflection so that you can take a look at, well, why are you allowing this in so many of the connections around you? And do you feel like that's the reason that, people spend time with you? Do you crave that attention? Do you crave that control? Does that make you feel powerful to have the people around you in a constant state of need, or you're always the one that's giving something? Are you giving all these things so that you can hold it over other people's head later? That's a you problem, not necessarily a them problem. Well, it's a them problem too, because they're giving you the power to be able to cut them off. But I digress. So people may like who you attract, the energy you attract, the type of people that you attract for it simply being you. And while you can be a connector and you can, introduce people to someone else to help them out, do beware of how it can negatively affect your reputation, and how it can be something that will close doors for you because you're trying to be the person who's helping out someone else who may be undeserving, or somebody who may be, frankly, using you for those connections and the people that you attract with your natural light, your natural aura, the vibe that you naturally carry, because you aren't out to use people, get something, or other things of the like. The next set of people that I'll point out are people that just like you for authentically being you. So people that just like you for who you are, but they're also envious that they aren't that, or that they quote unquote can't have that. So keeping your eyes out for people who they are attracted because they like who you are as you're living in your authentic self. But there's always like just little jabs, little nitpicky things. They'll, might notice a little dry hating here and there because they are envious of, again, those people and relationships, connections that you attract. They're jealous of the perks that you may just get because you're just a nice person. You attract positivity to you. You attract positive people, positive things, positive opportunities. You may just be one of those people. You're just nice, bubbly, happy. You get a good vibe, and it's like, oh hey, come over here with us. Oh no, let us pour you a drink from our table. Let us invite you over to our table to spend time with us. And while people are drawn to that authenticity, everyone who's drawn to you just authentically living as yourself, they're not always going to be for you. They're not going to always be happy for you. And frankly, everybody is not going to necessarily like you simply because they like the good qualities or the positive qualities about you, but think about it, and I want you to count on one hand. How many times has somebody actually come to you and told you to your face, like, you know what, I really like you, but envy dot 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 about you? Or, you know what, I need to talk to you. I feel jealous of you because of these reasons. Now, I need you to drop in the comments for real. Okay? DM me or put it in the comments if you are a person who has ever experienced somebody actually coming to you, man to man, woman to man to woman to woman, whatever combination of. Has any individual ever come to you and actually had like a real live one-on-one conversation where they actually told you that to explain why they was moving funny, why they were kind of acting a certain way towards you? Because I'm sorry, I've never experienced it. I've had people point it out to me that that was the reason for certain behaviors happening toward me. I'm so worried about me that I'm like, well, how can I self-correct? How can I redirect? How can I become a better person? And sometimes it's not you. If you are really true to this growth and development thing, if you are really like true to this growth mindset, if you are really truthfully into personal development, if you are really about learning healthy communication, learning these things, implementing them in your life, and actually putting them into practice in your everyday life and the way that you live, if you are really about leveling up, also for real stuff, there will still be times where you will be looking at yourself, looking for how you can remedy the situation, how you can be better in a situation, and the problem won't be you. And when I say that, I don't want y'all to take it and run and be out here acting a fool. I'm going to go ahead and put the disclaimer on it. And I don't want y'all to clip that and, do the little thing y'all do on the internet with an S. And, you know what I mean. So don't play with me. You know what I mean when I say this. You know whether you have done the self work to be at a certain level in your growth journey where you can tell that it's like, oh, I don't want to admit it. I don't want to say it out loud because it is like, dang, it's not me. It is you. Because when you're on such a journey, you're always going to be looking for ways to improve yourself, and when you're doing that, sometimes it does give way, people being able to misuse your journey, misuse your growth, and misuse your commitment to the growth, because you might hold your tongue, you might be trying to think of a better way to say something, you may be thinking about or focused on healthy ways and positive ways to resolve a conflict while they just being same old them. Or because they know that you're on your journey to enlightenment. It's like she ain't gonna say nothing because she's supposed to be on that. And then if you do, well, I thought you was on that. How you gonna say such and such and such to me? Look out for all of those little things that will come up in relationships that it's like, well, dang, like, why you doing me like that? So if you are seeing like all of those little signs, or you just feel it deep down in your shanana, or you kind of have that feeling that the vibe is off, don't ignore that. Don't ignore when you feeling like the vibe is off, when you feeling like the energy is off, because those very well could be those people that you do need to set a boundary there, not only for how you will be treated, and not only to teach them how to treat you, but also so that you're able to identify if and when you just need to go ahead and cut the relationship altogether, if and when you need to just cut it off because the person doesn't mean you any good. They simply tolerate you so that they can have access, so that they can get those perks, so that they're able to be adjacent, so that they're able to have access to all of those positive benefits that you bring and that you carry, but they don't care about you as a person, as an individual. They care about what they can get, what they can take. They tolerate you for what they can take, and aren't genuinely interested in having a relationship with you as a person, a mutual relationship. They interested in a relationship, but it's one where they can figure out how much they're gonna get up out of you and how little they're able to give. So, I just want y'all to look out for those things. Make sure that you let me know what you think in the comments. Take a look at the show notes. And if you've experienced anything like this, let me know. Let us know. Like, what was the situation? What happened? And definitely, definitely check into those comments if you are one of those people that you have actually had somebody to have that sit down talk with you, that I'm jealous of you sit down talk. I have to hear your story. I really do, because I need you to teach me something. And at this point, I'm just on a quest to find out, has that ever really happened? And are there people who will actually boss up and say such and express that? That would be really, really interesting to me, because it seems to be such a taboo subject and such a conversation that like nobody wants to have, whether it's true to it or not. So y'all let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for tuning in this week, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday with another Everybody Can't Go Convo.